I would say Serbia has the best history because Serbians treasure their culture maybe a little more than their closest neighbors.
Justus, are you an agent?
Am I an agent? You know, no one in the United States really knows where Serbia is. I don't think they think it's worth spying on. I'm a spy. I go home and I'm like,
but I'm not joking, believe me.
I'm going home,
joking.
I'm telling people, I'm like, I'm a spy in Serbia. And they're like, oh, Siberia.
Exactly.
Is it? You know? Miki Milane, Bashminana Smida, Mani Boye, Sitseod Papira. Did I mention to you that I was in the military? Did you know that?
Oh, really?
I served in the military for 4 years. Oh. I had the charger and I had like 20 grand in the bank. And I just felt totally empty because I didn't know what I was going to do with that money.
Dobar dan, poštovani gledalci. Dobrodošli u novu epizodu PSIHOKASTA.
Should I get aggressive about trying to speak into this?
Sorry?
Should I speak into it? Or
No.
Okay.
It's good. So you don't have to do.
You're more intimate. You get.
Let me continue. Justus.
Hey everybody.
Dobrodošli u novu epizodu PSIHOKASTA. Kao što ste već navikli, subota od 18 časova samo na Meridian TV YouTube kanalu, a danas imamo specijalnog gosta. Po prvi put morat ću koristim English. So my guests from USA, Justus Reid.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We just met for the first time in the parking lot out here, but yes. I've followed your stuff for quite a while, and I think you followed my stuff for quite a while.
Yes. So. Thank you. What do you think about my stuff?
Well, your stuff, you know, you speak not just English and Serbian so well, but you speak the universal language, which is violence, you know?
Yes, I love it.
So though I go to your pages and your stuff, and I'm like, who is this guy? Because you found me before I found you. Yes. It's like this guy, this fighter guy is liking my stuff. And so I go and check it out, and I'm like, oh, he punches people in the face. I'm into that. So
for a living. For a living.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that's how I discovered you. And yeah, you seem to be pretty good at it.
Well, thank you, Justus.
Punching people in the face.
I want to ask you about your name.
Yes.
Justus, that means pravda. On our language.
Yes.
Did I pronounce it good? Justus.
Justus, yes, that's right. Yeah. I was, you know, I've thought about changing it. If somebody comes, or just giving up, if somebody comes up to me and they call me Justus, I just accept it. I don't correct them anymore. Maybe I used to when I first got here.
Exactly.
But I just, you know what? If I'm Justus, I'm Justus. So, but
I agree.
My mother named me Justus.
Yeah.
So,
where exactly are you from?
I am from South Dakota, which is the geographical center of the North American continent. It actually is as far from water in every direction as you can possibly get. We've got a big monument there. It's like a big compass, which is just like you're as far from water as humanly possible. That is one of the things about moving to of course, Europe and being on the Adriatic and everything is really special for me. The water, whether it be in Montenegro or Croatia or even Slovenia, there in Portorož or...
Portorož is very nice.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. I was in Ada Boana, Montenegro, or Portorož in Slovenia, or in Split or Dubrovnik in Croatia. I mean, it's all wonderful.
What is your most, how can I say, beautiful country in the Balkans?
Oh, I think it goes to Croatia. I think that's the clear winner for somebody who spent so much time, like I said, so far from water. It's really nice to have these like natural sandy beaches. You know, we've got lakes in South Dakota, but they're all man-made and they're green and they smell. And so it's like these natural beaches and the salt water and things like that is just really special. Montenegro actually reminds me the most of home, though, because I come from an area of South Dakota. It's called the Black Hills. And the nature is very similar to, you know, the Black Mountains, Sonogora. And so when I was there for the first time in Montenegro, I was like, wow, like you could have told me I was back home. Like, this is so similar. And I think I need to bring a Lada Niva home because I was driving a lot of Niva through that through that area, through the Tara mountain. And we've got very similar terrain back home. I'm like, this is Niva. I would love it back in South Dakota.
Lada Niva is a great car, believe me.
But you know what I would say about Serbia specifically? I would say Serbia has the best history. If you want to talk about castles and ruins and text and museums and all of that, I think Serbians treasure their culture maybe a little more than their closest neighbors. Country-wise. And so like just even around Belgrade or the surrounding area, or you go up to Vojvodina or even southern Serbia, there's just always something to see that's really old, which we also don't have in the United States at all. I mean, there's you know, so many places that are hundreds of years older than my entire country. And even with old things in the United States, we build everything out of wood. And so it just falls apart after a few years. And so you know, it's funny. It's like we've got things like Abraham Lincoln's house, visit, you know, Thomas Jefferson, where he wrote the Declaration of Independence. And they're all replicas because the original buildings are gone because they were made of wood. You know, it's funny. In my home town, they built a complete replica of the building where the Declaration of Independence was signed, which is in Massachusetts. And so I don't know where they built a replica. They built a perfect replica literally 2,000 miles away from where it actually was, and nobody went to visit, and so they converted it into a candy store.
I love candy.
Yeah, and I didn't visit when it was a Declaration of Independence signing museum, but I did visit when it was a candy store. So
Massachusetts, is that the Mississippi River there?
No.
No.
Nope.
He's like, ha ha ha. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because I watch a lot of Netflix and a lot of movies and documentaries about serial killers. I was one from Massachusetts.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You know. But you know what's interesting? It's funny you mentioned that. I watched something on about transferring USA sitcoms and television shows to Russia, to Poland, to Egypt and things like that, where it's basically like, okay, so we have this great idea with this US show, and we're going to adapt it to a foreign audience, right? But here in Serbia, it's like, well, why would we do that? We just watch the original thing with subtitles. Like you guys, I don't see a lot of like adapting like, oh, we have this, you know, this Western thing, but we're going to make it Serbian and we're going to have it as our own thing. It's like, no, we'll just watch the original thing, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to there are American shows and movies and even music and things that just don't work in a place like Russia or Poland. And so they need to be changed and made more local. But here in Serbia, your sort of cultural understanding of cultures outside of yourself, whether it be East and West, whether it be, you know, if it's a Russian TV series or music or whatever, it works in Serbia. And if it's an American music, TV series, show, whatever, it also works in Serbia. I just thought that was really interesting about the country.
I wanted to ask you something, but don't lie to me.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are also asking. Justus, are you an agent?
Am I an agent? You know, I always answer that question the same way. No one in the United States really knows where Serbia is. I don't think they think it's worth spying on. It's like, yeah, he's spying. Oh, I'm a spy. I go home and I'm like,
but I'm telling joking,
I'm going home. I'm telling people, I'm like, I'm a spy in Serbia, and they're like, oh, Siberia.
Exactly.
Is it? You know.
I wanted to tell you same story. Yeah. I have one of my best friends is American. He's from Long Island, New York.
No.
And when he visited me in Belgrade, he told everybody, I'm in Serbia, I'm in Serbia. And all his friends were like, Siberia?
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know?
No.
So it's crazy.
And that's the big thing is, so even now, all of my friends and family who I talk to, I go, who know that I'm in Serbia because I get on them about it. I'm like, yes, I'm in Serbia. I'm in the capital city. Do you know what that is? Do you know the capital city of Serbia? They're like,
no. This is my friend. His name is Eric.
Oh, nice.
He's such a nice guy.
He also speaks.
He's a sweet guy.
He speaks the universal language of violence.
He doesn't like love, just like me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're a fighter, not a lover.
Yeah, I used to fight a lot of MMA. Now I just do bare knuckle.
Yeah, I saw that on your page, on your socials. Well, you know what I really watch? I watch a lot of NFL, American football.
We call it here rugby. You call it football.
Yes.
But the whole world calls football what you call soccer.
Yes.
Explain that to me, please.
Yes. The reason American football is called football is because it starts with a kickoff, because you kick the ball to the other team. And I guess that just stuck because originally football, funny enough, was such a violent game and was so intense, people were getting hurt, that they had to change the rules to make it less violent. But now still today, it is the most, definitely the most violent game you can play. I mean, you have, combat sports, like that's one-on-one, but there are people getting irreparably injured in every single NFL game that is played. From anything you can imagine, broken arms, legs, ribs, concussions.
I agree. A lot of concussions.
Yeah.
There was a movie with Will Smith.
Yeah.
The Concussion.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie.
Well, it's crazy. Like, take for example, 3 games into this football season this year, which I follow pretty closely, the most injured team, 3 games in, was the Los Angeles Rams. They had 18 players out for the season with injuries. And it's like, they only played 3 games and there's only 12 men on the field at once.
Insane.
So 12 men on defense, 12 men on offense, and then a few special teams guys here and there. So you have a roster of starters, which is about 30 people. 18 of them within the first 3 games are out for the season. And so it's one of those games where not only is the game itself really important, but the managing of the roster, because anybody could go at any time. But so football, right? It's called football because the rules used to be extremely different, but over time it's changed and the name just kind of stuck.
Do you watch it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I don't, because I don't know the rules.
Yeah, the rules are kind of challenging. I think it's one of the more complicated sports. But you ever watch cricket? You know the rules.
Cricket?
You know the rules to cricket.
I thought the cricket was a
was a bug.
Is it?
It is. but the game cricket, right? I don't know the rules either. But you watch that game and you don't know the rules. It seems
cricket.
It seems like the craziest thing ever.
He looks like a guy who watches cricket.
You do it. He thinks it's cool. Of course he does. Yeah, he does look like the kind of guy who watches cricket.
Ima li to kod nas? No, it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, no, but it's you guys just need a famous Serbian cricket player, and then it's gonna take off. You know, You'll start selling cricket bats at every corner.
Like with tennis, when Djokovic showed up, it was like the whole Serbia. Let's train tennis.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, somebody was telling me about Djokovic, about how it came out that he was gluten free, and then everybody's like, "Whoa, gluten free!" Before that, everybody was like, "No, that's that's gay. That's not a thing."
You want to learn from the best.
Yeah.
You see him eating shit, I'm going to eat shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
But it's amazing. Well, and of course, Djokovic, I really admire. I think he's a great guy. I met him last year.
He's a god.
We made a few videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, briefly.
Is that online or?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How the fuck didn't see that?
I don't know. It went over your radar. But I wrote a song for him. I played it on the guitar. I released it, and then I met him in New York.
Stop. When I googled you, it said Justus Reid, a singer.
Yeah. But that's how I started.
Sing something for me, please.
Yeah, it's like it started Miki Milane, baš mi danas smira, mani boje, srce od papira, and that was my first hit song, and then I ended up getting like this like all sorts of sort of opportunities from that. I ended up doing this performance in Chicago, I got to sing with Dr. Nele Karajalic as Zabranjeno pušenje.
Ah, I know Zabranjeno pušenje. Forbidden smoking.
Yes. And I met Severina in Slovenia, in Maribor.
Nice.
They invited me to this big event that she was singing at, and I made a short video with her and some things like that. So basically, there's all sorts of sort of music artists and music stuff that I ended up like falling into. My dad's a musician. I have 2 older siblings. They're both musicians as well. And that's how it started. But you know what I found out? I really wanted to push this musician thing, and I wanted to make that my career. But then once I started to meet with these real musicians and these really successful, famous musicians, they all told me the same thing, is that the real money is in live performance. And if you're not doing live performances, you're not going to make it, right? And you could be as famous as you want, but you're not going to make any money unless you're performing live. And I did a few live performances. I never did full shows, but I was guest star at quite a lot of shows, I think 5 or 6. And the pressure was just too much. It's like I could get up, there could be 1,000 people watching us talk. Right now there's a total of 2 and a mannequin. But there could be 1,000 people watching us and I would be completely comfortable. But if I have to sing and play and perform in front of a bunch of people, the pressure is too much. I didn't enjoy it very much. And so I pivoted more towards sort of just making this sort of comedy videos and things like that.
2 of them watching live and only 1 understands us, and that's Milica. Ogi doesn't speak English. 1 minute break, we have commercials.
Wow! Bring it out!
Kaže ovako.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! Jesus Christ! Dragi gledalci, jebote ispri posle šta je ono tamo? Pozivam vas da se registrujete na Meridian bet sajtu s promo kod PSIHOKAST i da pokupite posebnu nagradu od čak 6000 free beta. Znači imate link u opisu emisije, kliknete, registrujete se i čeka vas lova i naravno, samo ako ste 18+, a Marija mi je u majicu ispeglala koda su je krave žvakave. I have some gifts for you.
Oh my goodness.
This is my special edition pre-workout from my sponsor, Ogistra. It's a 400 milligrams of caffeine, the Psycho pre-workout. If you like it, I'm going to give you a whole box. Miždak, sportska oprema, vrhunskog kvaliteta po jako pristupačnim cijenama. Ananas.rs. T-shirt for you. And I don't know if you train, but these are gloves. Gym gloves. Gym gloves. Yeah. I can give you boxing if you want also. I have everything. Do you train, Justus? No.
But you know what's funny? I wanted to tell you, when people do have some reason to think I'm a spy, there's a reason people ask that. Did I mention to you that I was in the military? Did you know that?
Oh, really?
I served in the military for 4 years.
Oh, now it's getting suspicious.
Yeah, in the Army. However, I was in the National Guard. I served my state of South Dakota, not the federal government. So, however, my job there was I made essentially propaganda videos to get people to enlist in the United States military on social media. And that is where I got most of my social media experience.
Yeah.
And it was actually a really valuable time to learn. I don't know if I can get this thing off, but it fits great.
They fit?
Yeah, they fit.
I have bigger also.
No, they fit perfectly. But that time in the military was extremely valuable because I was kind of selling an extremely difficult product to sell, which was military service, right? And so the idea that it's like, hey guys, enlist in the military, it's fun, it's a great idea. And it's like, it's actually really not fun. And for many of you, it might not be a great idea. But that sort of made me very flexible when it came to video creation. So right now I make a living by making advertisements for companies on my social media. But,
nice.
But what's important about that is those videos need to be good. They need to be worth watching. They need to be interesting and entertaining. And so to any of you out there who are, I don't know which camera to look at, but any of you who are watching
this one,
any of you who are watching any advertisements of mine, the goal is that they are entertaining first and they sell the product second. And the goal is that once you watch it, you don't even feel like you watched an advertisement, you know? So if you ever see a video that mine and you're like, oh, this is an advertisement, it's like, kind of. It's to entertain you. But I learned that in my time in the Army. I wouldn't have learned it otherwise.
I love your videos.
No. Oh, thank you.
Eric, my friend, loves your videos.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's laughing all the time.
Listen, I really do try my best. And it's something where that sort of difficulty and hardship of being in the Army and sort of the discipline they put you through, it just made me a much better worker and a much better sort of person in general. And so if anybody is curious about sort of military service, I can only speak for the United States military, but I think military service in general is this way, is it was really valuable to my life because it really sucked. It was terrible. And it made me a lot stronger, just like any other training. So when you ask me if I train, no, I haven't trained since I haven't trained since I got out of the Army, because we used to train every day and we used to train really hard.
It's never too late to start again, Justus.
Yes, and I do need to start again because I'm at an interesting point in my life where I am the heaviest and the weakest I have ever been in my adult life.
How heavy are you?
I weigh... What was it? 88 kilos is what we had discovered.
88 kilos, 200 pounds.
Yeah. Ish.
Stones.
Yeah, I don't know how many stones that is.
Who uses that? English?
Some English, yeah. I was like, you ever hear them talking about money? They say quid. Sometimes they say pounds. I don't know what the difference between a quid and a pound is.
I just know euros and dollars.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the difference now in euros and dollars? Okay.
It's close. The euro is falling. The euro is falling
close.
Or the dollar is strengthening, which is actually not great for me, to be honest with you. I like it when the euro is stronger because I earn all my money in euros.
In euros.
I'm torn between two worlds, you know.
Earnings in Europe and earnings in USA, let's say from YouTube.
Yeah.
What is the
much
difference?
Worse in Europe. Yeah. Much worse.
As expected.
I couldn't make a living doing YouTube stuff. Though I was surprised. I was surprised at the earnings on YouTube. It pays much better than any other platform I'm on. I got really serious about making YouTube videos. I released like 10 or something like that. Like really long, sort of interesting like YouTube videos. And I think I made like $650. And I was like, this is my first month. Like, okay. That's not bad for the first month.
You're not going to be hungry with 600 euros.
Not in Serbia. Not in Serbia.
Yeah. But in Zagreb? In Croatia?
It's a little more expensive in Zagreb, but it depends, you know. If you go to the outskirts of Zagreb as opposed to, you know, the city center in Belgrade. Yeah. And even you go to the countryside in Croatia, it's different. But it's, Croatia is different than Serbia, that's for sure.
You live in Zagreb?
I do live in Zagreb. Yeah.
You alone?
Yeah. Well, actually, technically, my business partner and I share a flat. It's a 3-bedroom place, and there's only 2 of us. So I'm always trying to get people to like guests to stay over there because I feel like such an asshole having a place with an extra bedroom and nobody freaking staying in it.
You feel lonely?
No, I wouldn't say I feel lonely. But it's like, it seems like a waste. Like, what am I paying all this rent for? I'm paying rent for 3 rooms. But, but listen, Zagreb is nice.
I love Zagreb. I love Zagreb.
Good business in Zagreb. You said you were just in Croatia recently.
Yeah, last weekend. This weekend. Oh, I mean last weekend, because this is gonna... Kad ću ja budem eventualno, u subotu? Yeah, last weekend. I was in Zagreb for 20 days filming some reality show. I love Zagreb.
Reality show?
Yeah. It's a reality show for fighters. Like UFC had The Tough, the ultimate fighter. Fighters come into one house and they fight every day between Team Serbia against Team Croatia.
Oh my god!
You have to watch it. It's insane.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's the first season here in Balkans, and I loved it. I was the coach of Team Serbia.
Oh, you were the coach.
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. So why did you switch to bare knuckle? It just
well, doing something for 15 years professionally, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn me on.
Yeah.
Not sexually, of course.
Yeah.
And then 2020, when the corona hit, everybody was like freaking out. And that's when bare knuckle find me. I tried it and I say I'm hooked. From now on, I'm just doing bare knuckle.
Yeah.
I love it. I have 5 fights, 5 wins. I don't know if you know.
Yes, I saw that.
Of course, you know, because I talk all the time about it.
Yes.
Everybody's
When's the next? When's the next?
The next one, it's not 100%, but the next one should be Belgrade Arena again, FNC in February.
Nice.
But there's a problem to find an opponent because not a lot of fighters want to fight bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, but for me, it's much safer than MMA.
Yeah, I've heard that, right? Because it hurts to punch somebody.
Yeah. And it's a lot of cuts. You know, but MMA, you slam the guy, you choke the guy, you kick the guy, you know?
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Yeah.
You want to come to watch?
I would love to come to watch, yeah.
You have tickets from me.
Deal.
Hey, VIP.
Hey, I need VIP. Well, you know what's funny?
You are a VIP.
But I don't really like going to these big public events because I get swarmed by people. I don't get to enjoy myself. There's people always trying to take pictures or just staring at me all the time.
Exactly.
You know, I'm sure you can relate. But it's like, I find myself, especially, I don't really like to go out alone very much because of my language difficulties. And so, especially if I'm out alone, I'm like completely incognito. Like I try to be as
wear a mask,
invisible as possible. I have a lot of times, but you know what?
A corona mask?
No, like a bandana. Like I wear a bandana or like a hood or sunglasses.
But if the police see you here,
yeah, I know.
They're gonna stop you.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, hey, sorry, and they're gonna be like, oh. But
that's one of the biggest pressures I have fighting professionally.
Yeah.
And all this Instagram.
Well, you know, if you lose, it's a public loss. You know, public loss is brutal. I mean, people say the harshest things. Even the people who love you, you know.
Exactly.
So the people
public
love you.
humiliation. Did I say it right?
Yes.
It's the worst fear a guy can have. I don't know what actor told that, but he's 100% right.
It helps you win, though.
Yeah, also.
It's not as much about winning; it's about not losing.
But you are right. Even the close people to us.
Yep.
I mean, my mom talks shit to me.
Yeah.
she tells me you lost like a fucking pussy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I knew a guy who was a professional ranked tennis player.
Okay.
And I asked him about what that was like as a career. And you know, in tennis, you play quite a lot. And I was like, "What's that like?" And he's like, could you imagine the feeling of like getting fired from your job once a month? You know, like every month it's like I'm getting fired, and until I get a chance to redeem myself, I'm toast. I'm nobody. Will I ever win again? You know, is that ever going to happen? And that's crazy. But even with this social media stuff, I can relate. I mean, though the big thing is that the humiliation isn't as public. It's public, but the numbers to me matter more than they do to my audience.
Exactly.
But I'll see numbers fall for a week or 2 weeks. And yeah, I'll start to be like, wow, is this over? Like, am I never going to be popular again? Are any sponsors going to call me? Am I going to be able to make any money? Am I going to have to move home? Whatever. And I think with sports, it's one of those things where that, you know, it's mental. It's really mental a lot more than anything else.
And imagine that whole shit in my sports. I get beat up.
Yeah.
So that's a special edition humiliation.
That's especially bad. Yeah, it's not like you lost a tennis match. It's like somebody beat you up.
You fucking pussy. You fucking this. And I was like dieting 3 months. I was like training like a lunatic.
Training like crazy.
And I lose like in 1 minute. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
And everybody's shitting on you.
Well, it's like a person I think of is Conor McGregor when he lost to Khabib. Like,
oh my God.
Toast forever.
Even today.
Even today.
They talk about it.
Yep. We're talking about it now. I mean,
Exactly.
like, it's just one of those things that sticks with you where it's like, I mean, he went from the top of the world to basically the punching bag of everybody.
Exactly.
Even those who didn't watch the sport, you know, all of a sudden everybody knows about his loss. But that's the name of the game, you know? What do you think? You do it because you like to win? You do it because...
I fight because I have some early stages of schizophrenia. And if I don't fight, I have a big problem.
Okay, well...
Yeah, I don't care about the money.
The fighting is brief, though. Is it the training, right? You have to like to train.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's hard and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm injured. I get injured. I injure my legs.
Yeah.
I am tomorrow in the gym doing something else. You know, I have to train. I think I'm going to train until the last day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But that's good. You'll probably live a lot of days if you continue to train.
Yeah, but...
Depending on how psycho you go with everything else.
Yes, exactly. You know, I have to stop one day because I'm in sparring sessions. They get worse than actual fights. Yeah. So I have to be very careful with that because I don't want to be brain damaged. I don't want to have CTE like on that movie.
Yeah. Football players,
you know? So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, the only sport I ever competed in was in Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo for
I love Taekwondo.
I did Taekwondo for 5 years. I got my black belt. It's much easier to get your black belt in Taekwondo than it is Jiu-Jitsu. It takes about 5 years.
Exactly.
But it's, I think, ultimately much simpler. There's a lot less to learn in Taekwondo. It's mostly technique, and it takes years to master that technique. But there is, I think, fundamentally more techniques to something like Jiu-Jitsu, which I never did very seriously. But Taekwondo, I fought in a few tournaments and stuff like that. And I remember after I did about 5 fights, and they're pretty brutal. It's mostly kicks. And the guy before me, I fought this guy who was a few ranks above me, but he was my same age. And the guy he fought before, he knocked out clean with a spinning hook kick. Hit him right in the side of the head and knocked this other kid out. And then I had to fight him next. And thank God he didn't knock me out, but he did break my hand. He kicked me right in the hand. I didn't have a closed fist. He broke my freaking hand. And you know, I was talking to my dad about it and was like, I don't know that I like doing this, you know? And my dad, you know, he tells me a similar story. He was a boxer when he was a teenager, and he used to love to box. And he remembers, you know, one time he won a fight, and then he woke up the next morning and he didn't feel like he won because he got beat up, you know?
Boxing is brutal.
And so, but I mean, you ever feel that? You ever get done, you get done with a fight, right? And it's like you won and you have that victory, and then you wake up the next morning, you feel like you got hit by a truck, and you're like, oh.
My last fight.
Yeah.
I won it 5 rounds. I almost got killed.
5 rounds?
Yeah. But 2 minutes. Bare knuckle is short rounds.
Yeah, it's...
But I want to show you my face of my opponent after the fight.
Yeah.
But listen.
I'm sure he felt a lot worse. But...
Oh, he felt a lot worse, believe me.
Oh, man.
Ako može Ivanu...
That's the bare knuckles, though. Yeah. I mean, you were talking about it. I mean...
A nećemo moći nego da on iskoči. Zna sve, ali on je doktor.
Yeah, it tore him up.
A lot of cuts.
Yeah.
And he wasn't surrendering. And in the 5th round, I was like... I was winning and I was like going down, and he catches me with an uppercut and almost KOs me.
Oh.
And I had like 2 days after.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the kind of thing where
exactly.
It's like ultimately you won, but you know, you gotta be into it. That's it's crazy that it's like, I do understand it. It's funny. I was in Chicago. I was with a buddy of mine, Idris, who has he's a Bosnian guy with a jiu-jitsu studio. And
I think I know the guy.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah. Anyway,
tell me the story.
I went to his studio, and they gave me a uniform, and I'm not sure what they call it in jiu-jitsu, but he gave me a uniform, and I still remember.
Adnan. No. Sorry, Idris Rejović.
Yes, that's him.
This is the guy.
Yep, that's.
It's called the gi.
Yeah, the gi.
The gi.
The gi. I believe in Taekwondo we just called it a uniform. Very simple, right? Which gi probably translates to uniform.
Yeah.
And we didn't call it like a dojo or whatever. We just called it a school, you know? And so, but I still remembered how to tie the belt perfectly. And that was kind of one of those things where I hadn't worn one of those for 8 years. Like
Same.
A hot minute.
Same.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. So you're still fighting, but you're not going through the more traditional means through school, through any of that. You just have a personal trainer, yes. Right? Yeah.
I have my own gym.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Want to train one day?
One day, I think we should. I think we should train. We should see.
Deal.
We should see what I've got going. But yeah, it's I can still kick pretty good, but that's about it. The kicks is it. That's all we trained. And so that kind
of your length.
Yeah, that kind of technique is kind of hardwired into you, you know. But you know, it's got me at a bit of a disadvantage because in an actual fight, like on the street, like you're gonna kick somebody, and if you're not careful, they'll grab your leg and then you're toast.
Yeah.
Especially
if you kick him first, you can kick him in the head, you can knock him out.
Yeah. No, and I've seen that.
That's the whole thing. I mean, I don't want to be violent, but that's the whole thing about street fighting.
Yeah.
You have to hit first. You know, I'm in an argument with somebody. I hit him first, he's done.
Yeah.
Believe me, he can be Mike fucking Tyson.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah. Yeah, but you wouldn't catch me hitting anybody first. That's you
don't look like a guy who
it's out of my nature. And it's kind of like one of those things where, I mean, like, honestly, if somebody wants to hit me over words, I mean, like, who's the stronger guy, you know? Like, you're going to lose your temper and hit me because I said something mean to you. Like, and of course, it's not really my intention to start any fights that way anyway. But, you know, I did, funny enough, speaking of street fights, you know this, right? I get a lot of threats online, right? Everybody gets a lot of threats. I think, well, just online, there's people, they're talking crap and they're doing whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
But you know how it is. I mean, like, somebody's like, oh, I could beat up this guy, whatever. But I had people saying, you know, in my comments, I'm going to kill you if I'm going to find you or your family or whatever, stuff like that. But none of it is credible. It's mostly children. But like, I remember reading one comment that said, if there's one person on this earth who I wouldn't hesitate to punch in the face, it's this guy. And I was like, I believe that. like if I run into this guy, I believe he'd punch me in the face.
Bring it. I just text them. Bring it. You know my address. You know where my gym is.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And I remember my buddy in Chicago telling me the same thing. Idris, he's just like, yeah, some people, you know.
Justus,
they
never ever.
And I just say, hey, come on.
Never ever did one of them.
Yeah.
One.
And he said the same thing. Nobody comes. Yeah.
They just want to like talk with me. You know?
Yeah.
He curses me. I curse him back. And he's like, haha, Vaso is the king, you know.
Yeah.
Fucking children, idiots, retards, you know.
Yeah, so. But you say that, no, and when it comes to sort of online hate and stuff like that, I usually take it in stride. It's part of the job. And sometimes I actually kind of enjoy it because sometimes they can be pretty funny.
Yeah, of course.
It's not bad to laugh at yourself every once in a while. So you're pretty accessible. Then would you say you're accessible? So some rando on the street.
You have to explain me the word accessible.
Accessible means that you're easy to get to, easy to reach. So if some random person on the street goes, I want to meet Vaso, they can find you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, that's nice.
Easy.
I can respect that. Yeah. I'm not that way. I almost never tell people where I'm going to be in advance.
That's smart.
Do these sort of meet and greets or even what city I'm in. I mean, like, okay, I'm in Belgrade with you now, obviously. But kind of interspersed between my posts about being in Belgrade, there's like posts from Slovenia coming out at the same time. And so I'm getting messages. I'm getting bombarded with messages at once. It's like, oh, I saw you were in Zagreb. I saw you were in Celje in Slovenia. I saw you were in Belgrade. And so I've got all at the same time. And it's like, you know, and sure enough, tonight I'm going to be in none of those places. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And tomorrow another Belgrade video is going to come out. So that's one of those things where, but the thing is I'm pretty non-accessible, mostly just because, I don't know, public life doesn't suit me maybe as well as some other people. Do you like it? Do you like the fame? Do you enjoy it?
No. I fucking hate it.
No.
Believe me, I fucking
but you're
hate
accessible, which is interesting. You hate it, but if somebody wants to see you, not to get to know you, right? That's different. But if somebody just wants to see you and snap a photo,
you know
that's
why?
Not so hard.
Because I think it's part of my job. That's
like,
what I think.
You have a duty to the audience.
Exactly. And when I stop fighting, I think I'm gonna be like this. Like, Vaso, can I have a picture? No. No.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. If I have CTE, I'm done. You know, I'm toast.
Fans gonna come up to you. Can I have a picture?
Exactly. You know. So who knows? Who knows? One more question I wanted to ask you.
All right.
Learning Balkan language. Can I say Balkan language?
Balkan language, you know, yes.
Serbian, Croatian, Bosnian, Montenegrin. It's all the same, you know.
It's the same to me.
How hard is it?
Okay. I think for somebody in my position, and this is something even the people closest to me don't quite understand, but it takes a lot of sort of mental energy to learn a language and to understand it. And I'm really busy, and I'm thinking all the time of writing specifically. It's the biggest challenge of my job, and the most important is writing scripts for videos. And it takes a lot of brain power. And so I'll write for a few hours, and then I'm done learning for the day. I don't want to learn anything. And so I'll say, I'm going to write this thing, and then I'm going to take some kind of language class or whatever. And then I'll write the thing, and I'm like, nope. I'm off for the day. I'm done.
Tell me something on Serbian. Curse.
Dobar dan.
I want you to curse.
You know, we have...
I can tell that's the first thing Serbs or Croatians or Bosnians want to learn you. It's cursing.
Yes. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking just for the meme, for the fun of it, because I think people would like this, is I get a like an orange car, a peach car. And
peach car.
And I drive that around. So nobody steal that idea. That's my idea. Okay. But no, funny enough, I've got an old Porsche from the United States. It's orange. It's coming in hopefully within the next few days.
Nice.
And so that might be my peach car. But the problem is, you know, especially with cars, I don't necessarily like having such a famous car. Like my gold Yugo is a very famous car.
I love your Yugo.
Yeah.
I love you.
And everybody loves it, and I love it.
Yeah.
And it's fast now.
With you and Nedjmin, those videos with you and Nedjmin, I love them.
Yeah. Did you see that we modified it?
No.
So now it's got double the horsepower.
Oh, really?
So it's got like 100 horsepower. It had, 50. And stiff suspension and a bunch of chassis braces, shift kit. And so the thing is driving like a modern car. It is amazing. So
would you sell it?
No, never.
Never. Yeah.
That car has made me too much money.
Yeah.
It's a valuable car.
Exactly.
That car is as if it's actually made of gold.
Nice.
But I mean, ultimately, money isn't necessarily the goal of what I'm doing. But it sure is nice.
Of course,
it helps. I'm sure
it can only help.
I'm sure you would fight for free, but no.
When I was younger, yeah, I used to fight few fights for free, but today, hell no.
No, you wouldn't fight.
It's not like I need the money, I want money, I love money. It's that like I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but that's the thing, ultimately, I had a crisis when I was a teenager. When I was 18, I had a goal that from 18 to 19, I was gonna have all of this stuff. I was gonna have a new Dodge Charger. That was gonna be my car.
Dodge Charger,
yeah. The 18-year-old's dream. And I was gonna have 20 grand in the bank. And I got an insurance license and I started selling insurance. Really boring job, but there was decent money if you're a good salesman, and I was. And especially being only 18, people found it very charming that I was so young and was such a good little businessman. And so after a year, I had it. I had the Charger and I had like 20 grand in the bank. And I just felt totally empty because I didn't know what I was going to do with that money, or like, oh, well, I could buy a different car, but I have the car I want, or I could get a nicer apartment, but I have the apartment I want. And so the sort of pursuit of money in my life ended very early, very early. And technically you could say it was a good problem to have, but in the end, I sold the car, I got rid of the apartment, and I joined the Army. And I started over because I wanted to do something hard, And I did the same thing again. I was in the Army for 4 years. I had a good salary. I was well liked by my coworkers and had a future there. I owned my own home. That was great. I bought a house. The Army salary isn't so bad in the Army in the U.S. And I got rid of it all. I moved here, and I was literally homeless for 10 months. I was living out of that Yugo. And it was because the end goal is really about experience and about adventure and about meeting new people, going new places, trying new things. And somehow, more than a year later after moving here, it hasn't really stopped yet. I still somehow, Serbia and Serbian people just keep surprising me. So it's an amazing thing, but we'll see what the future holds. But so anyway, let's say I made a bunch of money. I don't know what I would do with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I have one pair of shoes. They're all dirty and gross. They're covered in oil stains and everything because I use them while I work on my cars, because it's the only pair of shoes I really own. And it's like, oh, well, why do I need 2 pairs of shoes? You
just don't care.
No. And it's like, oh, people are going to see your shoes are dirty. And it's like, so
who cares?
So, so I don't really have much of a desire to make lots of money or anything, but I do have a desire to survive and not starve. So that's nice. Well, but what do you think? What's the career move? Fighting, when fighting is done, you've got a fight coming up in February. You got some more fights. Maybe you'll fight for. What do you think?
I'm planning to fight 5 more years.
5 more years
until I'm 40.
Until you're 40.
Yeah, I hope I'm not gonna get CTE. I hope.
And bare knuckle, you might be okay. I feel like with the gloves, you'd be more likely.
Exactly. Boxing with big gloves, 12 rounds. That's insane for me. Yeah. That's too much damage. Bare knuckle, I think it's a lot of cuts, a lot of breaks, but concussions, not so much.
No, I saw your opponent there. That didn't look like he was having a match.
He doesn't care. Yeah. He's now in Belgrade. He's a trainer in one of the clubs. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care. He smiles. We were on the same event last weekend in Zagreb. Mm-hmm. Scars from all other fights and my fight. He just doesn't care. Yeah. Brazilians, they are fucking dogs. They don't care. They fight until the deaths. Believe me. Yeah. Brazilians are one of the worst opponents you can have because they just don't give a fuck. Yeah. So we'll see. 40, when I'm done, I have 2 kids. So I'm going to... all my energy are going to be on my kids. Yeah. Yeah. And that's my plan.
So you're planning to save up enough that you can just retire early. Yeah.
And do whatever. Retire. I have a club with my friends. Yep. I'm going to take care of those kids. They're up and coming, So I think it's a good plan. But we'll see.
But that's the thing, as much as I love making advertisements for companies and things like that, it is honestly a passion of mine, the puzzle that is, how do you make a video that people are going to actually want to watch that is also an advertisement is quite challenging. But I would love to just have enough money that I could just kind of make the things that I wanted to make and focus on the things I wanted to focus on just for the fun of it. Yeah. But that day is not the day.
You're young. You're 24.
24.
I'm 35. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah.
We have questions from the audience. People ask.
Hit me.
And we're going to deliver.
Don't actually hit me.
No, just for money. One more.
Oh my gosh.
I naravno, za kraj, pozivam vas da zapratite Meridian TV YouTube kanal. Ko nije zapratio, neka to što prije ispravi. Puno je zanimljivih emisija, za svakoga po nešto. Meridian TV, like, share, subscribe.
Wow.
Idemo sad pitanja publike, a da napomenem, to je da predstavim svoj ovaj produkt Psiho, parfum, coming soon. The Psycho, yeah.
It's not pronounced psycho?
Do you like perfumes?
I don't wear perfume, no. I'm a deodorant type of guy. I told you, I'm a very simple man.
You want to try this one?
I could try it.
This is for you.
Okay, well, all right.
Enjoy.
But you pronounce it
I think it's a vanilla, it's a vanilla, how can I smell, you know, vanilla, the Psycho. That's
yeah, but how do you say it in Serbian?
Psiho.
Psiho.
Yeah. We have like 100 questions, so we can answer rapidly, fast.
All right, I'll try.
Yeah. Let me see. Justus, here it is.
Did you curate them beforehand, or are you just winging it?
Sorry?
Did you? Yeah, I guess the big word and a slang term. Did you pick specific questions beforehand, or are you just scrolling through and guessing?
Just scrolling, but when somebody is when is a question I don't like, I don't read it.
Yeah,
because I have respect to my guest.
Right, there we go. All right.
You know.
Yeah. You heard it.
Yeah, and if you don't like what I ask you, we can cut it because this doesn't go live.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's perfect.
Fair enough.
Antic L, burger or burek?
Ooh, burger or burek?
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Yeah.
Burger.
American. Palm tattoo. Ćao, Vaske, pitanje za brata, da li je stvarno istetovirao Jugo neće dugo? Do you have any tattoos?
Jugo neće dugo.
Yeah, he's asking, did you tattoo that on your body?
No, I didn't. We actually did that for a video, but it was fake. I was with, do you know podcast Incubator?
Yeah, of course. I was a guest there a few times.
I was with their guy Ratko.
Ratko, yes.
And we kind of at the whole group we were with, we thought it would be funny if I got a fake tattoo that said Jugo neće dugo. But it was fake.
It's a good one.
They wrote it with a pen.
So the answer is no.
No, sorry.
Luka Bošković, do you like cevapi and kajmak?
Yes. Cevapi, I can't eat without kajmak, really.
Exactly.
Kajmak and onion. I mean, like, if it's just a
And
cevapi,
lepinja, bread.
Ah, yes, and lepinja. Seriously, especially kajmak. And that's the thing. We went to a restaurant recently here in Belgrade. Great restaurant. They do the excellent cevapi. And they were out of kajmak. And so we said, all right, prepare the meal. We'll be back in 10 minutes. We walked to the market. We bought kajmak from the store. We came back and we used it. Like, you got to have it. You got to have it.
Marac 1907, did he try to put ketchup in cevapi?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't, no. You know, we have cevapi in the United States, and it's very commonly eaten in the United States.
Really?
It's for breakfast.
Nice.
It's a breakfast sausage. That is the name of
Nice.
cevapi, is breakfast sausage in the United States. And you eat it with eggs.
Oh, nice. Arman Futsubez, where are the best cevapi you ate?
You're not going to like this, but it's actually in Zagreb. They have a really great place with the cevapi is infused with cheese.
Usually they're best in Bosnia.
It's true. But listen, if we're talking purity, like pure, just the meat, but the way they put the cheese in the cevapi, my American heart really likes. I like that combination. So you got the cheese in the cevapi, you got the kajmak, you got that, you know, it's...
Love it.
And it was in Zagreb. So, sorry guys.
Marac 1907. So this question is kind of, so I'm going to change it a little bit.
Go ahead.
Do you bring girls into your Yugo?
Into my Yugo?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think the most people we ever put in the Yugo was 8 at once. Women being among them. Yeah, the Yugo's a chick magnet, for sure. The women can't get away from the Yugo.
Exactly. Mati Ilić, Serb girls or American girls?
Well, I'm dating a Serbian girl. So I have to say Serb girls. Though I will say, and I don't want to single anybody out here, but I prefer a more natural look. I think there's a lot of women around here getting the plastic surgery. Yeah. And,
exactly.
And
same.
It's too much. I think it shows a lack of confidence. And I don't want to come out and be like, it's ugly, it's disturbing, or it's disgusting, or whatever, because but I think it's just like wearing
too much.
Wearing your mental health issues on your face.
And it starts with the nose.
Fighters do that too.
Yeah.
They wear their mental health issues on their face.
But it starts with the nose.
Yeah.
Then lips. Then fucking ears.
Yeah.
Then breasts.
Yeah.
Ass, and it's like.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of, especially Belgradian women who take it too far. And it's too much for me. So I am dating a Serbian woman, and she is absolutely wonderful. And so, yeah.
One of the most questions we got, we talk about it in the, it's like, is he an American agent? Guys, he's not a fucking agent.
I'm not an agent. I would be the worst agent ever. You know what agents like to do? Be as seen as humanly possible. Hey, everybody, look at me. Look at me. And then people say, that's exactly something an agent would say. But,
Okay, the guy sitting there, his name was Ognjen. He's not longer there. He asks, does Justus soap the cat?
Soap the cat?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I have to translate it for you.
Soap the cat.
That's one of the biggest questions for all of my guests.
You shouldn't. Cats don't need soap because they clean themselves. They lick.
He doesn't think literally. Do you soap the cat?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We're gonna skip this one. Bajić Mihajlo, da li sluša kršku muziku? I don't know how to translate it, but I'm gonna ask you, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a little bit of everything. I mean, honestly, I know everybody says that, but it's much easier to tell you music I don't listen to. I don't really listen to a lot of new rap music. It's not really my thing, especially this kind of trap rap stuff. I don't really listen to. I don't listen to country music. There are some exceptions for both of those, but basically everything else, old, new, electronics. I like Daft Punk. I like the Beatles. Those are kind of mainstream options. But like, I could listen to, and I like Wu-Tang. There we go.
Sorry, I'm laughing at these questions. So Ognjen asks, do you soap the cat? This other guy asks, does he sharp his rockets? The other guy asks, does he grind his squirrel? Fucking lunatics, So we're gonna skip answering that.
I'm in a loving and committed relationship.
Yeah.
With a woman.
Yeah. Tadia asks, here's another conspiracy question.
Ooh,
Why did he came to the Balkans? Is it correct to say to the Balkans or on the Balkans?
To the Balkans.
To the Balkans, yeah.
But the reason I came is, like I said, is just for adventure. And of course, I stumbled onto the Balkans by accident when I made a video about the Yugo, because I'm a big car guy and I always thought the Yugo was interesting. I've liked that car for years, since I was a teenager. But I never really considered where it came from. Well, once I made a video on social media about that car, then boom, my whole world is opened up to where that car came from and all of that. And sure enough, a few years later, I live here because I was trapped in a military contract for 4 years. And then as soon as it ended, I go, I'm leaving the country. And so I did.
Another conspiracy question. Antic, why did he came to Serbia? Because he had a better life in America. I mean, he had a better life. Why did he come to Serbia?
I had more money in America. That is true. And I have more stability in America. That is also true. And my family is in America. That is true. But it's because those were not the things that necessarily made my life better. As somebody who's young and is trying to make something of myself, I think there's value just as, being a teenager. And I worked a lot of jobs as a teenager. The worst job I ever had was picking up roadkill off the side of the road. I was driving the truck at 15. I could barely see over the steering wheel. I was driving the truck. I was picking up dead animals and throwing them in the back of the truck for a whole summer. And so you've got jobs like that when I was a teenager, to becoming, career insurance guy, to the army, to moving here. It all is just in sort of seeking some kind of adventure, some kind of purpose or whatever. And it's not about, I think a lot of people who travel, especially those who leave their home country, whether it be the United States or even Serbia, they're running away from something in their past. But I'm not really focused on running away. I'm running towards something, you know? What's next? What's next for me? And right now, Serbia is what's next. And what will be next tomorrow or next year? Who knows?
Eric Olson, that's my friend from New York, asks,
Nice.
did he slept in the Hotel Slavia?
Slavia?
You ever heard of it?
No.
It's a hotel near Slavia. It's the same name, Slavia. It's like the Dracula Hotel. Eric stayed there for 20 days. Remember, so it was crazy.
Dracula Hotel.
Yeah, the same. Believe me, the same. Next. Ilya 213. Does he think the Serbian dream is better than the American dream?
No. But here's the truth. Serbia is better for me personally, but I think let me say it like this: if you are the poorest person or the least earning sort of bracket of income in the United States, I think you might be worse off than the lowest in Serbia, because there's a lot more government protection and social benefits in a place like Serbia. Take, for example, okay, healthcare is, I believe it's better in the United States. However, it's more accessible in Serbia, especially if you're poor. And so things like that, where if you're in this bottom 10% of earners, I think you're better off in Serbia. But if you're in the rest of the 90%, the United States is much better due to various different reasons. However, that's very on paper sort of thing. If you look at the American dream, I think the American dream still is alive. And I think if you are a Serbian person looking for that American dream, I think you could find it. But what dream is the Serbian dream? Do you think what do you think personally? What's the Serbian dream?
I don't know, believe me.
See, that's a problem.
My brain just stopped.
So as an American, I know what the American dream is. Yeah. I know what America stands for specifically for foreigners, because it's a country built by foreigners. It's built by immigrants. My ancestors were immigrants once, you know, and they were able to create a legacy that involves me. And that's a pretty amazing thing, as opposed to you could be a Serb back 50 generations, and who knows where you could be as compared to the generation before you or before that. And so I think there's a lot more randomness about Serbia, where depending on what family you're born into, or what city or what region or what town, your opportunity is a lot less than in America, being born wherever it may be. And that's a shame. So that's kind of my sort of on paper definition. But I'm very privileged to be able to be, you know, one of the lucky ones who can come to Serbia and see it for all of its good and all of its bad too. I get to explore, you know. I think I've been to a lot more cities and towns in Serbia than a lot of locals have, you know. Some people just stay in their village or stay in their town or in their area. And it's good to experience everything, you know.
Nikola, CZ45, debeli stremac. What do you think of him?
He's intense, you know. I love him. I love that guy. He's great. And, you know, I'll tell you what, he's in it. It's a great relationship I have with him when it comes to, he's very big on YouTube and has this YouTube following, and I'm very big on this Instagram, TikTok, and have a following there. And so when we make videos and we make content together, I really feel like we both kind of win and we have a good time and we enjoy each other's company and things like that. So he's a good guy, but he's crazy. He's I can see why people like him. You know, it's funny where it's like, you know, I think a lot of young people look up to him, right? And it's funny that he's a role model to a lot of young Serbian people. And it's like in the United States, people are like, I want to be like Tom Brady or whatever. And in Serbia, they're like, I want to be like Debeli Stremac. But I've seen a lot from a lot of kids, teenagers, people like that, and we're like, "Oh, I saw you in Sremac on his show," and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting."
It has like almost 1 million views, yeah?
Oh, I have no idea. But yeah. But I did hear before coming on this show. I heard from 3 separate people, just like you announced it, like yesterday. And I've heard from like 3 separate people who were like, "Oh, I saw you were going on that show." That I was like, "Really? Oh, wow." Vaso's podcast. I listen to it. I love it. So that's always good for me to hear whenever I jump into whatever thing.
Yeah, because when I started with this podcast, everybody was like, "You're going to bring only fighters?" I was like, hell no.
Whoever I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have to go through some sort of approval process to get me on? Or were you just like,
No. I'm just going to ask you if you want it. You can come.
There you go.
It's like cup of tea. You and me.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if it was just like MMA, bare knuckle talking. Mm-hmm. Every episode would be like the same.
Yeah.
Justus, it was a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed.
I did. I enjoyed.
Ljudi, bio je to Justus Reid from United States of America. Justus, thank you.
Hvala ljudi.
Nadam se da ste uživali, a mi se vidimo sljedeće subote. Pozdrav.
Ljubav, rakija, ljubav, Srbija.